The African American Shakespeare Company was founded in 1994 with the goal of providing actors of color an opportunity to hone their skills and talent in mastering some of the world's greatest classical roles, including Romeo and Juliet. Here to discuss their latest adaptation of the play in more details is the artistic director, Peter Callender. Peter, thank you so much for joining us, and you're also the director of this play.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, I am. I'm very excited about this.
We're so excited to talk
Thank you.
all things about the play. But first and foremost, when it comes to the African American Shakespeare Company, tell us the overall mission of the company.
Well, almost 15 years ago, Sherry Young decided to, almost 15 years ago, my goodness, almost 30 years ago, I've been here for 15 years, has decided when she came out of ACT that there isn't a place for actors of color to do their work. So she created the African American Shakespeare Company. Her favorite motto is, how difficult can it be? And she's been doing it for all these years, almost 30 years. So we will be celebrating our 30th anniversary. And it's basically to hone the craft of young actors coming out of conservatories, universities, etc., to let them know that they have a home to come to, let them know that there are directors and other actors, artisans to help them create their craft, new stage managers. As a matter of fact, we have a new stage manager that I'm mentoring right now to do his work. So we are here to invite young actors to say, you have a home and you have a place to come to learn Shakespeare, to learn the classics, to learn stage management, to learn lighting, to learn anything you wish. But we are here for that purpose.
That sounds wonderful, and it sounds like there's so many different resources, which is incredible. But let's now talk about Romeo and Juliet specifically, the play that you did direct. Tell me what's different about this play and what twist did you put on it?
Oh boy.
I can tell you're excited.
I'm excited. Look, a couple of years ago, I was commissioned by the American Stage Company in St. Petersburg, Florida, to do an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet that has a happy ending. We were in the height of COVID. People were dying, millions of people around the world. It was sad. People were at home. Kids were out of school. It was one of those situations where to have a tragedy, to put a tragedy on stage, it was an outdoor theater at the time, to put a tragedy on stage, we thought, no. So let's see if we can do it with a happy ending. And Peter, we hand it off to you. So I worked with my colleague, Kristen Clippard in St. Petersburg, and came up with what you guys will see when you come to see our show. And I was concerned with teen suicide in America. I was concerned about young black kids dying. I was concerned about bullying on stage. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight and also diminish. So Romeo and Juliet, it does have an ending that is surprising. I will say, yes, it is a happy ending, but I'll save the surprise and how we do it for when you guys come to see it.
Well, so it definitely sounds like yours is a more modern take.
It is.
And I love that you've implemented pretty much a lot of the things that we struggle with, our teens struggle with.
Yes, exactly.
But what would you say is the biggest difference between the original and your adaptation?
Well, this is, all my words are Shakespeare's words. I didn't rewrite anything. I don't think I'm a better writer than Shakespeare. I didn't rewrite anything. I basically took bits and pieces from different parts of the play and I weaved it through so that the audience will get Shakespeare. It's not like Peter Callender rewriting anything, except maybe the last rhyming couplet. I struggled with that. But it is Shakespeare, but it's very contemporary. It's very contemporary. There's jeans and T-shirts and white sneakers, and everything is it's very smooth and is very easy to listen to and is very understandable. Kids will love it because they will see themselves on stage. And the thing about Romeo and Juliet is that the play takes place in less than 4 days from the time they meet until the end of the play. So teenagers these days are dealing with so much, and I just wanted to let them know that there's hope. Right? There's hope. Once you get into a situation and you're feeling down and you're feeling as if there's no hope left, there's hope. And when you see Romeo and Juliet, our adaptation of it, you'll see that, yeah, we're offering hope and we're offering a chance for parents to listen to their teenagers, right? And understand that sometimes they need to be just to sit down and be heard. So I think that's what we'll get out of this production.
And hope is such an inspiring word, too.
It is.
And when you implement that into a body of work, it really is such a beautiful thing. Now, I have to ask, when it comes to the casting, I can imagine a lot of people probably want to be involved in some of these plays, but for you, what does it come down to for the casting?
It comes down to personalities, right? It comes down to getting a group of people. I was talking about it earlier in the lobby. It come down to getting a group of people in a room that, first of all, get along, but I don't know that until first rehearsal. But I've been doing this for a long time. So I would see, like the actors you'll see in a few seconds, I would see them, I would meet them. Of course, I've worked with Shelby over the years, but and then you get a sense. Sometimes, you know, when you meet somebody for the first time, sometimes you say, or right?
Yeah.
So I look for that moment. I look to see, well, first of all, are they talented? Yes. Do they have a sense of humor? And I throw a little something at them, a little bit of direction or a funny story, and see how they react. And I can tell instinctively, yeah, I want that person in the room.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it's a talent. I think 80% of the success of a show is casting.
I believe it. You're the expert here, so I totally believe it. And we're actually now going to see a small piece from Romeo and Juliet. But before we go there, can you set up this scene for us that we're about to see?
Great. So Romeo is Montague. Juliet is a Capulet, enemies for life, and of course no one knows why. Shakespeare doesn't explain it. Romeo crashes the Capulet party that happens every year. So he crashes it with his buddies Mercutio and Benvolio. They're all wearing masks and so on. And Juliet appears with her father, and everyone applauds her entrance like a 16-year-old, right? And then they first lay eyes on each other. But Romeo is actually there looking for Rosalind, who is... They're breaking up, she's breaking up with him. But then he lays eyes on Juliet. And the first time they meet is what we're about to see.
Ooh, okay, I'm excited. So let's get the information about how people can go and see the play for themselves. And now our viewers, like we said, you can check this out. And now, Romeo and Juliet, take it away.
If I profane with mine worthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this. My lips, two blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Well then, dear saint, let the lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. And thus, from my lips by thine, my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they've took.
Sin from my lips, oh trespass sweetly urged. Give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. That was absolutely incredible. And I have to ask the two of you, this adaptation, what excites you most about it, both of you being on stage playing Romeo and Juliet?
Well, I'm really excited to embody just being innocence, you know, of Juliet and having fun. I think that as we grow into adulthood, we forget how precious being innocent is, you know, having such joy every moment that you're living. And so it's just been a pleasure working with Peter and working with Kari. And I think just based off of our friendship that we have, it just really shows on stage.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I love that. What about you, Kari?
Well, for me, it took a while to get back into that 14-year-old high school me. Definitely, but I remember times where I would sneak out, you know, from home and find a girl that I really like, go to the house party and stay out all night. And mom saying, where you been at? And I'm like, Mom, you know.
Who knows?
You know, who knows? But working with Peter definitely helped me embody and get well into my character and get into my innocence as well. So working with Shelby, the chemistry immediately
just clicked.
Just clicked.
I can see it too, even just with that short scene. Now, for the two of you, it might be even different than a director's standpoint. What do you hope that the audience really takes away from this adaptation of Romeo and Juliet?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Those hard-hitting questions. It's the journalist in me.
I would think love, love, trust. I think we're at this time of the world where we look at differences so much, we don't allow ourselves to really enjoy the love that's genuine and connection. So, yeah, definitely want the audience to take away love and seeing innocence in people. Yeah,
And I think they
Yeah.
definitely will.
Yeah.
And what about you, Shelby?
I would have to say, you know, with life comes suffering, and there's a lot of difficult things, unfortunately, that people have to deal with. But finding a trusted confidant and speaking through those things, I think that can really help. I really appreciate, you know, Peter talking about mental health and
Yes.
giving Juliet hope. You have to come see the show if you want to know what that means. But I just really appreciate how uplifted I felt at the end of every show, looking into Kari's eyes and us bowing. I feel like the audience was smiling rather than weeping in tears. And so, once again, you have to come see the show.
Oh, trust me.
Understand.
Absolutely, and I'm going to definitely have to come check it out, and I know so many of our audience members are going to love to see this too. But you guys were amazing. Congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us here today on Live in the Bay.
Thank you.